Okay, Khushi. So today we are going to study the past paper pattern for economics, and we are again going to start with the main thing that is the skill set that is required to do it. So first is that which skills you require. So skill set. So three main skills here. Number one, the assessment objective one, that is knowledge and understanding. Number two, which is AO2, is the analysis, and AO3 is the evaluation. Okay, Kuchi, so here the knowledge is very similar to that in the business, but there's one more thing added here. That is that there is no separate assessment objective for application here.
Yes, sir.
So application is also part of the knowledge and understanding. So we say here define, state, identify, right? And knowledge and understanding and the application, all of it is part of this. You have to apply the formula as well, and putting in the formulas also are part of the knowledge and understanding. We already know about AO2, which is the analysis, which we is considered to be as the chain of analysis. But here, one thing very important is the chain itself needs to be more developed here, meaning that you must have three to four connecting lines. Very important. Select, organize, and interpret the data. Use economic data to recognize patterns and relationships and develop links between causes and consequences, right? Then the evaluation. Evaluation in economics is like the other side of the story that you write for the question, right? So the other side of the story, where let's suppose they say that whether supply side policy is a good measure to reduce the inflation or not. So when you are giving one-sided answer where you are talking about how the supply side is a good policy, then you move on to the other side where you say that the supply side may not be that much good a policy. So there basically that is basically the case where the other side of the story is seems to be your evaluation, right? So you
Yes.
evaluate the economic data, issues, and situations, provide the supportive assessment with relevant economic analysis is there. So analysis is also part, the chain of analysis is also part of the evaluation because now you're just giving the other side, but you have to analyze that as well and recognize the outcome of economic decisions and events may be uncertain and express the evaluation in a logical way, right? Okay. So now we are going to quickly come towards first thing that I am going to do here is that we are going to talk about paper 2 section B first. Then we'll talk about paper 2 section A. But first, paper 2,
So I have a question.
yes.
In the four-part questions, the 8 markers, do they require a conclusion?
Mhm. In the four mark questions,
The eight marker.
usually they do not, but writing a concluding line is not wrong. If you want to write it, you can write it. But there are
Okay.
no marks for that.
Okay.
Specifically, there are no marks for that, but you can do that. There's no. No issue with that. Okay. So section B first we are talking about. How many marks do the section B has?
60.
So 60 marks for section B. And apart from the marks, marks are 60. The total time for doing section B.
1 hour.
No, 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Okay.
So you have good amount of time to do it. Oh, sorry. Mhm. So there are going to be four questions. Question number two, three, four, and five. And the parts of these questions are A, B, C, and D. And again, same. And marks are 2, 4, 6, 8. So total of 20 marks each. And you have to do 3 out of 4. So there is a choice,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Now, if we talk about the part 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, these are 2 marks, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the requirement? The requirement is assessment objective 1, which is knowledge, right? So this is the only requirement here. And the keywords used are define, state, identify, calculate. So as I've already told you that if it is a 2 mark definition, so there must be 2 points to that, or
Yes.
you could also give an example, right? So in definition, you can actually, in order to define, you can define by giving example. Okay, now we have a sample answer. So the sample question that we have on our screen says identify two characteristics of money. So first of all, when you are identifying two characteristics of money, so what is the key word here, Khushi?
Identify.
Yes. So the key word used is identify, right?
Yes.
So this is that sort of a, do you think that in economics while writing the answers, can we answer in bullet forms? Like we answer in a bullet form?
I don't think so.
You can't write it in a bullet form. Okay. So this is one of those questions. And Gushi, I will also show you that many of I've seen in candidate responses as well that the students are sometimes, even the B part, even the C part, sometimes they are giving in points. Like first point, they mark it as one, then they mark it as two. They are doing that as well. But and the examiner has not said anything regarding it, but that is something which is not preferred.
Okay.
So when it is not preferred, so it means that you should avoid doing it,
Yes, sir.
isn't it? If we look at the answer for this, he says that generally acceptable, two things that is generally acceptable and it is divisible, right?
Yes, sir.
So here you just have to name two characteristics. So here they say that you could bullet point these. It would be useful to underline the word characteristics because students might be thinking it as the functions of money. So they might mistake it with the functions of money. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, why is it working so weird? Okay. What is wrong with this? Okay. So, Kochi, if you look at this particular question, this is a sample answer was also there as well, but this is more seems to be, we say, a sample answer or a candidate response. Kochi, read the question, read the answer, and tell me how many marks you are going to give here.
Okay. So 1 mark
Why is that?
because only one point is mentioned on what is maximum price.
So what could have done?
So could you repeat?
What extra he could have done here?
So he could have also been a bit more specific, where he could have said like maximum price is price which is generally set below the equilibrium price, and then maybe he could he
Hmm.
talk about how that like leads to shortage and stuff, like maximum
He
price
could, but
leads to.
he could also talk about who sets the limit on the price.
Yes.
So you are right that when you said that he could have talked a bit about that maximum price is set below the equilibrium, which is very good. So upper limit on the price set by government, it is the price below the equilibrium. Now you see what the examiner has to say on this.
Oh, okay.
So the examiner said that this answer would be strengthened by mentioning who would set the upper limit. This would increase the mark awarded from 1 to 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now we are going to talk about the B part. This is the part 2B, 3B, 4B. मैं 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B. So it's going to be 4 markers. Now, first, requirement of a 4 marker. Because the question will say explain, so it is still AO1 only. So the keywords which is going to be used here is explain.
So, and we don't need to link it to like the small text kind of that's given on top of each four-part question.
Why would you? It's a general question.
Because like the application also comes in the knowledge.
Yeah, but that thing is supposed to be done most of the times in the case study questions,
Okay.
right? So in case study, you are going to link everything with the questions up there, but not here, not
Okay.
necessarily. So you have to be providing 2 points, plus you have to explain each point. So for this, you have 2 marks, and for this as well, you have 2 marks. Okay. So now we have here a sample answer. Question says explain why governments provide public goods. So the key word here is what?
Explain.
Explain. So the key word is explain. And then he has talked about that in this case, you need to be clear about why government provide the public goods. You could talk about the non-rivalry and the non-excludability and all those things. Now, what I actually want from you is not this. I want you to read this first. Read the question and the answer and then mark.
Done reading, sir.
How many marks?
I would say 3 out of 4.
Okay, so where you are deducting a mark?
So when the supply may decrease if cost of production rise, I believe they could have explained more on why the supply curve will shift to the left if cost of production rise.
Yes, the reason for the rise in the cost of production is missing.
Yes, sir.
So the other part is fine. The second one that he has done, that is fine, right?
Yes, sir.
And the change seems to be good as well, that the supply of bananas may also decrease if if it becomes more profitable to grow another crop. Farmers may use fewer resources to growing bananas and more of the resources to use. This will reduce the quantity of banana for. So what extra he could have done here that supply may decrease if cost of production rise. So what he could talk about? Why the cost of production is rising?
Maybe um, the factor of production have become more expensive.
Why? Damaging of the crops,
Yes, sir.
any natural disaster which has reduced the supply of it.
Yes, sir.
The cost of production is rising, right? So 3 out of 4. So now let's just look at what the examiner has to say about it. What is he saying?
The second part is good, but then they would want a reason for the first reason, that why the cost of production is rising.
Hmm. The second part of the answer does explain a possible reason why the supply of bananas may decrease. The first part of the answer identifies the cause of a decrease in supply. It would, however, have been stronger if Y a rise in the cost of production would decrease supply and if the reasons had been related specifically to the supply of banana. The stronger first part would raise the marks awarded from 3 to 4. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so now we are coming to The new part, that is question number 2C, question 3C, question 4C, question 5C, and it's 6 marker. Now, first, the requirement. Now, this is a question which has a new assessment objective introduced now, that is AO1 plus AO2. So 2 pointers, including the factors, you call it the reasons, you call it the method, plus analysis of each. So in analysis, chain needs to be established, right? So, and the keyword which will be used, very simple, which tells you that you have to analyze. It is written analyze, simple.
Yes.
So it will simply say, oh my God, analyze. So now if we look at one of the sample answers here,
So I have a question.
yes,
So, like 2 pointers need to be mentioned and then the analysis of each. So, is it like 4 marks for analysis? So, does that mean like uh, two impacts per point, or does the chain need to be longer?
must be at
Okay,
least two. It must have a very good chain. 3 to 4 connecting sentences should be there.
okay,
Should be at least. It's not like a simple impact that we do in business, right?
okay. Yes, sir.
Now the sample answer. The keyword again, if we identify here, is analyze. Our central bank might reduce the household borrowing. Now, coming to the main part, I want you to do this question. Candidate response.
We're done reading, sir.
Okay, so how many marks?
I think it should be 3 out of 6.
Okay. And what is the reason?
So, it's like mainly just focusing on one reason, skilled workers. The second reason isn't quite mentioned. The first paragraph was also talking about how having skilled workers would be beneficial to the MNC, and the second paragraph is just elaborating on that. So there's just one factor being discussed, not two factors.
Spot on. Okay, if you see that this is the point, this is the same point that he was referring to. Although in bit in detail he talked about lowering the cost of training. Here, the chain was really good. If you consider the
Yes.
first point, the country may have a good education system, it develops stronger skills in the workers. So now they have stronger skills, so skilled workers should mean that the productivity is high, which may mean that the average cost of producing a product may be relatively low, which will attract the MNCs by to set up and make the profits with this. So this is a good chain. So you see the chain.
Yes, sir.
So this is for the 2 mark he has made this chain. So it's a good lengthy chain, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now what has happened is that sometimes if you give only one-sided answer, examiner can give you 4 out of 6 and 5 out of 8,
Oh,
right? They have this, a leverage to give you more than 3 for giving only 1 point. But then the second point again needs to be like that they have added more things and it should be explained well. Only then you are going to get the 4 out of 6. Otherwise, you're not.
okay.
Right. And usually it's not like that you do not write anything here and you only write the first paragraph and you expect 4 out of 6. He might be given 4 out of 6 not only because that he wrote this very good, he also added with some more points to the same point, right?
Yes, sir.
So basically, if I have to check the marks, so let's just see what the examiner is saying. You can read this and see what the examiner is saying.
So when it says like at least two factors, so that means we can analyze more than two factors. And in
You
terms of that,
could.
the examiner check like do they just read the first two factors mentioned like in business, or is it
You see, they have
they,
not specified that you must talk
yes, sir.
about 2 factors. But I would say that it is recommended that you go on with 2 points with good two chains.
Okay.
I can show you in the candidate examples as well that students have given 3 points, but that doesn't change the fact that if your 2 points are good enough with the good change, so you are also going to get 6 out of 6. There's no problem with that.
Okay.
I don't see an issue in that. So, okay, read the examiner report that what does he says.
So I'm done reading it.
Okay, so what he said.
So the examiner said that the like the chain of analysis is very good for the skilled workers point, but then it's only one factor being discussed, so the person could have discussed another factor in order to gain more marks.
Mm, very good, excellent. So that's why there was only one factor, so there must have been 2 factors. He was saved only because he used
Yes, sir.
very good vocab into this in answering this question, basically. So he
Yes, sir.
did really good there. So that's why he is being given 4 out of 6. Okay. Now the 8 marker. Okay. So first of all, This is part question number 2D, question number 3D, question number 4D, question number 5D. Another requirement. There are two major things which are coming here. AO2 analysis and AO3 valuation.
Knowledge won't be there.
It is automatically, but mostly you will be marked on the basis of this.
Okay.
So always write two-sided answers. So there could be two pointers on each side. Right, just give me 1 minute. Now, okay, she's coming back, sorry. So always write two-sided answers, so two pointers on each side does not always mean basically it somehow it means advantages, disadvantages, but sometimes they talk about whether they are good for the economy, effective in doing it, not effective in doing it. So basically they are dealing with the factors and other stuff as well. But usually it is at the end of the day advantages and disadvantages. Okay. How many chains are there going to be now? Because two on one side and two on the other. So there are going to be now four chains at least. And evaluation.
So like the 6 marker had 3 to 4 chains per point. So even the 8 marker has 4 chains per point.
A six marker has?
I think like the six
No,
marker.
no. I'm saying here the how many chains you have to develop, not
Oh,
the links, but
okay,
the chains itself. With one point, one chain of analysis, with another chain of, so there are four chain of analysis. And
okay,
yes, if you talk about how many links, so those are also at least four.
okay.
3 to 4 links should also be there. Okay, evaluation. That is the other side of the argument, right? Now,
Yes.
some more tips here, very important. Chain of analysis, reason identified, and give more explanation. So you identify a reason and you give more explanation of that.
Okay.
Secondly, show how reasons, points, because students always ask that we do not have enough points to write about this. So how you can write more points by seeing the impact will make an impact on, let's say, consumer, producer, government, overall economy. So this is very important.
Oh, so if we cannot think of much points, we can like show its impact on all the different aspects.
Yes, and this is very important. Let's say you are talking about the impact of, let's say you're talking about the impact of technology. So
Yes, sir.
what will be the impact of this on the consumer? So they will get high quality and low price, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Then you talk about producer. Short run cost will increase for them, but long run benefit as the cost of production will be low.
Yes, sir.
Higher production will be there, quality production will be there, so profits in long run. Then government, obviously more technology, more advancements. Probably the government will now have to spend more on the unemployed because technology can result in more unemployment.
Yes, sir.
So you see how quickly it becomes to, give the points. Then you talk about the overall economy or the community even. You talk about the overall economies, let's suppose first. So more tech means that high production, so more GDP growth, high GDP growth, more exports. So businesses, the country is flourishing in that way that they are making more money by exporting the goods as well and have high quality of GDP that is established, high quantity of GDP actually, right? Then the
Yes,
community as well, that if the technology is environment friendly, so there will be lesser pollution as well. So you see, this is a good idea, isn't it? That if you are unable to think about any points, you think about that, what will be the impact of that on the consumers, the producers, the economy, the government, the workers, anything.
so is it like, suppose there's a question which is where you cannot identify two disadvantages, so then we can elaborate the first disadvantage even more?
Yeah, you can do that, no? And it
Okay.
becomes really easier, no? Because sometimes you do not think of any points, and this way you can, isn't it?
Yes, sir. So also, so there was this
Mhm.
1 8 marker. It was talking about evaluating how I think it was like disadvantages and advantages of determining like of consumers studying the elasticity of demand, the price elasticity of demand. So what could be the disadvantages for that? That was one thing I really got stuck. for the 8 market? What
The
disadvantages?
what the disadvantage of?
So, like the business is analyzing the price elasticity of demand, what impact can it have? So, we had to discuss the advantage and disadvantage.
Yeah, the impact is that if the firm gets to know that their product is inelastic, they will start exploiting the consumers by charging a higher price and creating a
So, but
shortage and not
that's
working on the product itself.
that's beneficial to the business, though. It's not beneficial to the consumer, but it's beneficial to
Yeah,
the
it's
business.
exactly. So not beneficial to the consumer
We had
because
to
if they are
discuss in
asking you
terms of the
to,
business.
okay, you have to discuss only in terms of the business.
Yes, yes, sir. There was a question like that in our last midterm exam.
But I guess this should be the impact on the economy rather than of because knowing the price elasticity is always going to benefit most of the times. Yeah, one thing that you could say is that but that is again very vague sort of a thing that even though you are basically, let's suppose you know the elasticity of your product, and according to the product being inelastic, you are charging a higher price just because that the product is a need. But you also have to then consider not on the basis of just that it is a need, so it is an inelastic product. You also have to consider how many substitutes available there are in the market. And if you do not consider or you do not consider your market in that regard, so you might end up charging a higher price, and your rivals might be able to sell more just because their prices were not increased.
Okay.
That could be one thing. Then the second thing is that let's suppose we say that the product is elastic and you are making the elasticity basically tells you that if your product is elastic, so rather than charging a higher price, you keep the prices low and do more promotion. So if you
Yes,
do
sir.
more and more promotional activities, but you ended up doing too much of it, it means that your business cost is going to raise now, and it is going to go beyond that, and then it is going to be a problem, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Right? Now, this is the sample answer, Kushi, right? So this is the question is going to be with the keyword discuss. So we haven't written this. I'm going to write it here. That the keyword is discuss, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is the keyword. And now, Kushi, just one last activity before we end the class. Analyze which assessment objective.
Three. No, two, sir.
Yes.
So, wanted we
Oh,
two?
yes, to. Yes, it is to analyze. Yeah. Calculate,
One. A1.
define,
A1.
describe.
A1.
Yes. Discuss.
A2 and 3.
Yes. Explain,
A1.
give,
A1.
identify,
A1.
state.
A1.
Very good. Okay, so Kushi, we'll do this question in the next class and we'll study it. And then we will also study about the paper too, right?
Yes, sir.
So we will also study about the paper two in the next class. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Paper two, section A, right? Okay, then, Kushi. That's it for today, then, Kushi. Take very good care of yourself.
Bye,
Bye.
sir. Sir.